Hi, Giles here from Whittle Waxes. Today we're looking at maintaining floors. This particular floor was laid 3 years ago and it's in our reception here at the warehouse. There are a number of steps to follow and we'll be working through those as we go through the video. So this floor was treated with our Evolution hard wax oil. It's a high traffic area, it's a reception area, and we needed something that was going to be durable, maintainable and repairable. So we get the best longevity out of this bit of flooring. So the most important aspect of looking after your floor is vacuuming, and the reason for that is it picks up any abrasive grit or gravel or anything like that that's going to damage the finish when you're walking on it. The other important thing is that irrespective of the vacuum cleaner that you use, it's the head that's crucial, and it needs to be a head that's designed for timber floors. So it's brushes only, there's no metal plate or anything like that that'll just damage your floor instantly. So when choosing a vacuum, make sure it's got a brush head on it for timber floors. So once you've vacuumed your floor, it's really important that you give it an occasional mop or wipe with our floor care. This is an amazing product. We've been selling it for 20 odd years now, and it's really an important part of the maintenance process. It's a neutral pH. There are no solvents in it. It has a mild detergent, but importantly, it's got vegetable oils and carnauba wax. So when you wipe over the floor, there's no watermarks left behind, but there's a replenishing layer of waxes and oils that keep the floor looking and feeling amazing. So what we've found over the years is that it's important keeping your floor dry in the process. Old string mops in a bucket sloshing water around are not ideal because the water gets between the cracks in the boards and they swell and they deteriorate. So these spray and glide mops are an excellent option, and there's obviously several brands. This is one that we promote and sell. It has a canister on the front in which you mix the floor care and water. It doesn't have to be hot water or anything like that, just normal clean water. And the trigger, when you pull the trigger, it dispenses the product onto the floor and you simply wipe over it. Microfiber is very good. It's not an issue on a hard wax oil floor, but if you're going to be using microfiber pads, they suggest on an oiled floor that they will strip the oils out of your floor. So just be aware of that. If your floor is simply oiled and you're wanting to use floor care on it, you need to use a pad that's not microfiber, rather some tiling or something like that. The mix is very simple. It's almost half a teaspoon of floor care into this canister and water. So your 1 liter of floor care will probably last you the best part of 12 months. So it's a very economical way of looking after your floor. It's also a situation where you're not throwing away the concentrate when it gets dirty. You're simply cleaning the pad, which has now picked up that dirt, put it in a washing machine or something like that. And it's handy having it under or in a cupboard or something, because if a pet has an accident or the grandkid has an accident, you can wet that sticky patch, wipe it off, and you've kept your floor clean. That's as much as it needs. This is a little example of how durable and water repellent our hard wax oils are. This one was built about 12 hours ago, and we will be showing you how easily it is to remove that stain without any damage to the floor. That was a really impressive little session with that red wine. For oily stains or stains that are more stubborn, our preparation cleaner is a more aggressive cleaner. It doesn't have the waxes and the vegetable oils in it. It's more of an aggressive cleaner, and we have a video on it already up on YouTube. So after several years of really nice use on your floor, there'll come a point where you'll probably consider just replenishing it in some manner. And that doesn't necessarily mean any need to sand it or to, there's no major upheaval from that perspective. So the product that we would recommend then is our wax polish. And it's basically a drying oil, and it's fantastic for replenishing worn areas or being buffed onto an older floor and just giving it another lease on life. It reestablishes the water repellency and all those characteristics that the hard waxes have, which are so good. We have two wax polishes. One is matte and the other is just a regular wax polish. The matte is for all the floors that have been coated with matte hard wax oil. The regular is all the other sheen levels, classic satin and gloss. As a brief demonstration, this lovely bit of Jarrah is a gloss finish, and I'm just going to very quickly repair a couple of scratches here in this top. Again, these wax polishes, you can repair any surface that's been coated with hard wax oil. Just a little tiny bit is all you need. Rub it on the surface or into the scratch. Let it sit for a couple of seconds, and then wipe off the excess. Make sure you do so in such a manner that you can't see any residue on the surface. And those little white scratches will be reduced, and you can do it a couple of times to actually almost get rid of them completely. So by their nature, floors will get damaged at some point in their future. These 10 tips will help reduce the impact of any damage that might occur. Most important is to put felt pads on the feet of all the furniture, even if it's not going to be moved. It provides some protection to the floor between the timber of the furniture and the floor itself. Office chairs, replace the plastic wheels with rubber wheels. It'll extend the life of your floor immeasurably, and it's a far better solution than using a plastic floor protector under an existing office chair. If possible, pick furniture up rather than slide it. Doormats are crucial to keeping the grit and the abrasive particles outside or off the floor. Rugs in high traffic areas are a good idea, as long as it's practical. Importantly, shake the doormats out on a regular basis, or the rugs, and vacuum them if possible. Thank goodness high heels are no longer in fashion because they destroy floors. It's as simple as that. Wipe up food spills in good time. Preferably don't leave them for 12 hours as we did with our example with the red wine. The sooner you get them off the floor, the better. Never place plants directly on a wooden floor, even if they're in a waterproof saucer. You need an air gap between the floor and the base of the plant. Check the soles of your shoes for little tiny bits of grit or gravel. Sometimes you can feel it when you walk onto a hard surface, but pick anything out of your shoe before it damages it too much. One of the challenges of having floor coverings on a timber floor is that invariably there at some point will be a difference in the color between the area that's exposed to the light and the area that isn't. Now this floor is 3 years old, and it's been completely covered in this area by this rubber mat in this entrance, and as you can see in the morning the sun shines in here. So the fact that it's darker than this area means that what's going on is there's a little bit of yellowing going on in the finish. And the reason for that is that our finishes are alkyds, which means they need ultraviolet light to stay clear. The fact that this mat is completely removed any ultraviolet light to this area means that it's darkening, and that's the coating that's darkening. The opposite of that is when you've got a lighter area under a mat and a darker floor, what's going on there is called oxidation. And oxidation is where the timber is darkening under ultraviolet light, not the coating. And it's a process that occurs very slowly over months and years. It's pretty much irreversible, but if you catch it early enough, or you're diligent in leaving mats up over a period of time or moving them around, that stark line will be reduced. We do have this little floor care brochure as a download on our website. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.